Some people know they're lonely, they feel it every day, but loneliness isn't always obvious. It sneaks into your life in ways you don't even realize. You could be surrounded by people, have a good job, a full schedule, and still feel like something's missing. Some signs are subtle, others, they scream for help, but nobody, not even you, sometimes realizes it. I see this everywhere: social media, everyday conversations, even in the way people interact with each other in public. Loneliness isn't just growing, it's evolving. People aren't just alone, they're disconnected even when they're physically present. And the worst part, they don't always recognize it. So here are 7 hidden signs of loneliness. Number 7, you've become emotionally numb. At first, it feels like nothing, just a little distance, a little detachment, but then you notice it happening more and more. You laugh less, you don't cry, good news doesn't feel exciting, bad news doesn't hit the same way. It's like your emotions have been turned down so low that they barely register anymore. And if you're around others, it doesn't matter how loud they are, how excited they seem, it doesn't get through. You smile when you're supposed to, not at the right moments, but deep down, nothing. Your brain is protecting you. Emotional numbing is a defense mechanism, and in the moment, it works. But long term, it leaves you wondering if something is deeply wrong, because losing the ability to feel is its own kind of pain. And that's the worst part. The loneliness isn't just external, it's happening inside too. You're alone with your own thoughts, and even they feel distant. I see this in people who've spent years suppressing their emotions because showing them never felt safe. They learned that feelings lead to rejection, so they shut them down. And when you do that long enough, even you forget what real connection feels like. Number 6, you constantly feel misheard or misunderstood. Ever try explaining something personal to someone and walk away feeling worse than before? Like they didn't really hear you, or worse, they heard you but got it completely wrong? It's frustrating, but after a while, it starts to feel inevitable, like no one truly gets you. So you start keeping things to yourself. Conversations become surface level. You stop expecting people to understand because at this point, why would they? This pattern keeps repeating itself. But here's what makes this so painful. Loneliness isn't just being alone. It's feeling unknown. It's feeling like no one actually sees who you are. I sometimes see this with people who grew up in families where emotional validation didn't exist. When no one asks how you're feeling, you learn to keep it in, and eventually you forget that your emotions even matter. Number 5, unhealthy coping habits. It's late at night, you're watching episode after episode of a show you don't even like that much. You're scrolling through social media, but nothing is interesting. Or maybe you're eating, but you're not hungry. It's not about the show, the food, or the scrolling. It's about avoiding the silence. Because the second you stop distracting yourself, the feelings creep in. That dull ache in your chest, that emptiness you don't know how to fill, so you keep going, convincing yourself it's fine. And maybe it is, for a little while. But these habits, they don't actually fix anything. They just cover it up. Loneliness doesn't go away just because you ignore it. It waits. And the second you're alone with your thoughts again, it's there. This is one of the biggest traps I see in modern life. We're not taught how to sit with ourselves. We're taught how to escape. Keep busy, keep moving, keep scrolling, and eventually we forget what true connection, even with ourselves, feels like. Number 4, raising your voice. It happens in little moments. Maybe someone interrupts you and you get irritated faster than usual. Maybe you feel ignored, so you say something louder, sharper, just to make sure they heard you. It's easy to think this is just frustration, but frustration with what? The feeling of being unheard. Because when you feel ignored for long enough, your brain goes into overdrive. If no one listens when you speak normally, maybe they'll listen if you speak louder, more forcefully. Maybe then, finally, someone will understand what you're trying to say. But here's the problem. It doesn't work. Instead of getting understanding, you get labeled as rude or aggressive, and that only makes you feel worse, because deep down, all you really wanted was to be heard. This is why some people push harder, talk louder, demand attention, because they're desperate for connection, and when it doesn't come, the loneliness only grows. Number 3, pushing people away. It doesn't make sense at first. You want connection, so why would you push people away? Because it doesn't feel safe. Every close relationship comes with risk. The risk of being judged, the risk of getting hurt, the risk of being abandoned. And if you've been through that enough times, your brain tries to protect you. It convinces you to stay distant, to leave before you can be left. But here's the catch. Pushing people away doesn't actually prevent loneliness. It creates it. Some people don't even realize they're doing this. They make excuses not to hang out, turn down invitations, or convince themselves that they prefer to be alone. But deep down, they don't. They're just tired of getting hurt. Number 2, social exhaustion. For some people, socializing is fun, energizing even. But for you, it's exhausting. Not just in the normal introvert versus extrovert way. It's deeper than that. Because every conversation feels like work, like you have to monitor everything you say, like you have to be this version of yourself that people will accept, instead of just existing as you are. And at the end of the day, you're drained, not because you don't like people, but because you can't be fully yourself around them. And the longer this goes on, the worse it gets. Some people start avoiding social situations altogether. Not because they don't want connection, but because they feel like it's not worth the energy anymore. Number 1, feeling unseen around others. This is the deepest kind of loneliness. You're in a room full of people, but it's like you don't exist. Conversations happen around you, not with you. No one asks how you're doing. No one really notices if you're there or not. You're physically present, but emotionally invisible. And over time, this starts to change how you see yourself. If no one notices you, you start to wonder if maybe you aren't worth noticing, and that's the most dangerous part of loneliness. It doesn't just make you feel isolated, it makes you question your own value. I see this everywhere. Social media is filled with people desperately trying to be seen, but the problem isn't visibility, it's connection. And without that, you can have 1 million followers and still feel completely alone. If you saw yourself in any of these signs, let me say this. You're not broken. You're not alone. Loneliness convinces you that you are, but that's the lie. The hardest part is recognizing it. But once you do, that's when change becomes possible. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and see you in the next one.